Why do women seem addicted to emotional drama? You think she wants peace, but her heart beats for emotional turmoil. Give her calm, and she'll search for drama somewhere else. Women aren't drawn to chaos because they're malicious. They're drawn to it because their biology was forged in uncertainty. In modern society, most women don't need men for security or provision. They have their own income, their own home, and a world that feels safe. With survival handled, the only stimulus left is emotional. That's why the man who lives on his own terms, out with friends, chasing money, ignoring his phone, registers as a drug. He creates constant emotional flux, and she calls that feeling alive. In contrast, the man who pours love, money, and consistency into her kills the thrill. Consistency, routine, predictability are the hallmarks of the masculine path. They build businesses, physiques, and fortunes. But to her, routine equals no arousal. She views the world through feelings and fantasy, not through logic and loyalty. When you go to work every day, pay the bills and stay home, she reads it as safe but boring. Even Drake, grinding an album in his home studio, would get the cold shoulder if his woman saw him at the piano 6 nights in a row. She'd fold her arms and say, "Again? That's all you do?" High status doesn't immunize you. Money and muscles may attract her attention, but they don't sustain her obsession. What sustains it is her uncertainty about your emotions. A woman can only pull back if you've pulled forward. When you lean in with consistent validation, she leans out to test your neediness. When you never lean in, she has nothing to pull against. That emotional imbalance is, to her, leadership. The bad boy's power isn't in being cruel, it's in refusing to be predictable. He leads her emotions by living for himself, which makes him inconsistent in her eyes. While she is texting and waiting, he is moving forward. This creates urgency. If you want to harness that leverage, you must stop trying to win her through routine. Understand that women need toxicity, not abuse, but uncertainty, because their lives are otherwise empty of danger. They create situations that don't need to exist because boredom is the enemy. As a man, your instinct is to lead with logic, pay the bills, solve problems, protect, and provide. But she already has all of that. What she lacks is the emotional roller coaster that only the man who doesn't revolve around her can provide. You have 2 tools. First, shut down her drama quickly. Set the frame, set expectations, and never tolerate disrespect. Tell her, knock it off, and mean it. This shows boundaries, but boundaries alone aren't enough. The second tool is more powerful. Stop caring. True indifference drives her insane because it signals a higher sexual market value. She wants you to invest emotionally, to confess feelings, to hold hands and cuddle. Each act of emotional investment moves you toward the provider category and away from the alpha she craves. When you don't care, you refuse to invest. That's not apathy toward your mission. It's apathy toward her manipulations. It means when she yells, you stay silent. When she nags, you let her voice echo off your emotional walls. She realizes she can't argue with a brick, and it infuriates and enchants her. In her mind, this man has options because he doesn't need to invest. That concealed value makes her feel not good enough. She fights harder for your approval. As her feelings deepen, she throws logic out the window. She ignores men who may be higher value on paper because she is fixated on the one man whose emotions she can't read. To her, that obsessive question, "Does he like me?" is love. She will never treat you well just because. She treats you well only when you maintain the psychological leverage. This is why you must be willing to walk away. Marriage, legal entanglements, and permanent commitments handcuff your leverage and kill desire. Women are conditioned to be temporarily feminine. They turn sweetness on and off to draw you in. Don't be their mirror. Stay the same, unmoved by compliments or complaints. Conceal your sexual market value by passing tests and refusing to reveal how much you like her. Like her quietly, screen her thoroughly, act based on her actions, not her promises. As a man, you must accept that life will not hand you a perfect submissive angel just because you work hard or lift weights. Hypergamy is relentless. You cannot self-improve your way out of it. You must learn to play the psychological game or be replaced by the man who does. But don't despair. Growth comes from losses. Every failed relationship, every test you failed, every woman who walked away has been refining you. You may feel shame, regret, or anger when you see where you went wrong. Let go of that. You did not write the world's script. You were programmed to be romantic and safe by society, by movies, by music. There is no weakness in trusting. There is only ignorance. Now you know better. Let go of the fairy tales. Accept that you cannot control everything. Lead your life like the man in Fight Club, letting go of the wheel. Focus on what you can control, your purpose, your mission, your emotional fortitude. Stop trying to control her responses. When you free yourself from outcome dependency, you become untouchable. Women will test and tease, but you will remain cool. They will sense your detachment, and crave the storm you create. Your value is not in how many women you can attract, but in how many you can let go. Break some eggs to make this omelette. Embrace the losses that teach you. When you stop blaming yourself for being misled and start embracing the reality of female nature, you become the man who leads not just with logic, but with emotional mastery. And that man doesn't fear chaos. He uses it to create desire.